Look at you. You look like one of those ladies on the QVC. All your things
all
lined
my
out.
wares.
Nice.
And my bras. Hi everyone, welcome to Parent Life. I'm Allie. Obviously I'm going to take this one without Kevin because today I'm going to talk about pumping tips, and specifically from the perspective which I'm familiar with, which is breastfeeding and pumping kind of simultaneously. I've continued to breastfeed my baby, but slowly worked in pumping into my regular schedule from about the first month on. So if you're a first-time mom like me and new to pumping, it's a little overwhelming, and there's so many different products and things out there that it can just be a little stressful. So where to start, which is getting your pump. And there's a lot of different pumps out there on the market. One thing I would suggest is to just go through your health insurance, and you can get a free pump that way. That's what I did, and that's the pump I continue to use. You can get some really decent pumps for free through your insurance that way. So I use the Medela Pump and Style. I had a friend recommend this to me. I did a little bit of research, but a lot of the free pumps you get pretty much all seem to offer the same kind of offering. And this, it looks like this. And it's an electric pump, and it also has a battery adapter, which I have yet to use, but I'm thinking that this would be good on the go if you're traveling and you don't necessarily have access to an outlet. That being said, I'm almost, you're gonna wanna be seated, maybe not move around that much when you have this, kind of heavy duty of a pump on you. First tip, definitely recommend, using what you can get for free if you can. It might make sense to have more than one pump if, like me, you plan on pumping from work and you have the ability to, store a pump at your place of work also. And for that one, you could, register for another pump or just buy a separate pump. They run the gamut from, in terms of price point. I have seen the Willow pump online, which looks amazing, but so expensive, and I have not been able to justify the price yet, because this works just fine for me so far. Next thing is that, there's more than just an electric pump. There's all different kinds of pumping accessories and pumps that you might want to utilize as you're also breastfeeding your baby. And one of those is like a Haka pump, or even, I don't know what they call these, but there's just little silicone cups. And if baby is breastfeeding on one side, and like my baby, that she's probably not gonna do the other side right afterwards, or if you're leaking while breastfeeding on the one side, it's really helpful to be able to place one of these on the opposite side while you're breastfeeding. And the Haka is just like the silicone rubber kind of pump, and it just, it just creates a suction, and it, you're let down, it just comes out. The next thing I use is also old school, a manual pump. I think some of my friends think I'm crazy, but I find this more convenient.
She's a big fan of the manual pump.
I'm a big proponent of the manual pump. Everyone thinks I'm crazy, but for the
hates technology.
I do. Kevin calls me Boomer Alley. But a lot of times, especially if you're breastfeeding and pumping, a lot of times you're just gonna need to do one side at a time, and I find it to be a little bit of a pain always, get the pumping bra on, get the nursing bra on, get the pump out, find a place where you're gonna have an outlet near you, clean all these little parts, So sometimes if you just need one side and a quick, right before bed, just to make sure that I'm not gonna wake up in a ton of pain, I'll use the manual pump on one or both sides, or on just one side if she's only eaten on one side. And I think it's super easy. I just happen to use all the Medela brand, not sure how you say it, because that's what the pump was that I got. And so I just figured to make them interchangeable by staying within the same brand, that would just be easiest. Another product that you can buy that I think also makes pumping a little easier is these bags that at least Medela makes. Other brands might make it, where it has a little hole, and then it comes with this little part where you can hook it into the bag, and you can pump directly into the bag that you're gonna store your breast milk in. So you don't have to go from bottle and pouring it into each bag and then washing extra bottles that you don't need to wash. So I find these super convenient a lot of times. If, you know, I know that if I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to fill a whole bag, then I'll just pump into the regular bottles, and then later you can, you know, pour them into the regular size bags, which actually are a little bit bigger. So those are just some options, but I definitely like these, and I almost always pump at least directly into one bag at a time. And sometimes I have a bag on one side and a bottle on the other. If you're going to be pumping on a regular basis, I highly recommend getting a good quality pumping / nursing bra. I have 2 different kinds because I wasn't sure. I didn't know about any of these. I didn't know what they were. This one is probably like the most typical that you'll see, and it's kind of like a bandeau style, and it zips, which is nice. And this is more meant for, I think you're not gonna be wearing this all day as your regular bra. This is, you know, you're gonna put this on right before you pump and then take it off. And that can be good for around the house, but after I bought that, I discovered this Kindred Bravely bra, which is really good quality, and you can just wear this all day as your regular bra, and it doubles as a pumping and nursing bra, which I think for my situation is really helpful. So there's, you know, 2 layers. The first, just the regular layer, and so then you can, you know, have your little pump part right there, and then if you want to breastfeed instead, that one also folds down, and you can just breastfeed and leave this bra on, and it's very comfortable. I'm sure other brands make them, but I recommend this. It's worth the investment. It's about 50 bucks, so it's not cheap for a bra, but I love it, and especially for going to work, to not have to, you know, put on a different bra while I'm there, very helpful. So in terms of timing, when to start pumping after you have the baby, and you know, how to work that into your schedule. I waited a full month before I started pumping, and I mentioned in some other videos that you know, in hindsight, I regret forcing myself to wait when I, you know, really felt like I wanted to or almost needed to pump earlier. I was having some clogging issues, and I think pumping would have helped, you know, clear that clog, but you know, I was told, you know, wait till at least the first month, just focus on getting, you know, breastfeeding down, which I think is a valid point. But I say, you know, if you're ready and you want to, there's no harm in trying pumping out and just getting used to the rhythm and how it works. But definitely, you know, follow what your doctor says. I'm not a professional. That's just, you know, from my personal experience and what a lot of friends also told me that I resisted at first. So if you're ready and you want to give it a try, you know, I say go for it. And also, you probably don't want to wait too long because, you know, once your milk supply comes in and is mature, your body kind of starts to know how much milk to produce. So if you're going to need to pump eventually, it's good to introduce that into your routine and to try to do it around the same time of day if you can, so that your body knows, okay, you know, in the morning after, you know, about an hour after the first feed, you're gonna pump. And so your body will eventually know to produce more milk at that time. That's a little easier said than done, at least in my experience. With different routines with the baby and her sleep schedule, my pumping routine has also changed. And so far I haven't noticed any, you know, big negatives for changing the schedule. I was trying to pump in the mornings most day, and now it's easier to pump during the day now that I've gone back to work. So if you can, try to keep a consistent schedule with when you're gonna pump during the day, but I say don't worry too much if that doesn't work out. Another tip is, if you're going to be pumping a lot and saving a lot of breast milk, is to consider, if you can, buying a separate freezer or a deep freezer, like a storage chest. We just happened to buy an extra freezer, and it has come in handy because, you know, you build up a supply and it takes up a lot of room in your freezer. So if you have existing food that you also want to store in the freezer, that has been very helpful to us.
She's doing a great job. She's doing a great job.
Hopefully that's helpful to you.
Is that it?
That's it.
That's it?
That's all I got.
All right, people. She did a great job.
See you on the next one.